Next for my outs, tandem reading. Now this type of tandem reading, I do mean reading 2 books or more at a time. I don't mean when you're supposed to do it. Like Throne of Glass, I did do the tandem read of Tower and Empire at the same time, and it was amazing, absolutely chef's kiss. I highly recommend doing the tandem read. I mean reading 2 totally different books at the same time. I used to do that so often, and half the time one of the books would just get left in the dust and it would be very hard for me to go back later and pick it up. So I'm not gonna do that this year. Unless they are 2 books you are supposed to read at the same time, I will be reading 1 book at a time. My next out is buying physical books. I pretty much only read on my e-reader or listen to audiobooks, but y'all, I currently own more physical books than I could probably ever read in my lifetime. Now this is for a purpose. I do love lending books out. I do love buying a physical book after I've listened to the audiobook. I love going to used bookstores, and eventually I want to have a library room in my house where I can just have all of my books. But in my current house, we have absolutely no room for a library room. So in 2025, I will be attempting to buy 0 physical books. This next one is always an out for me. I never set reading goals on purpose. I don't think that it is healthy for myself personally. The closest thing to a reading goal that I have is just read more books. Read more books. That's literally it. I'm not going to try to make myself read 50 or 100 books this year. I think I had like 10 books that I fully read last year and 3 that I didn't end up finishing. And that was great. You know, that was great. It was less books than I read the year before, but that's okay. I still read books. I still enjoyed them. Like reading goals can also deter me from like reading the books I really want to read. Like I'm starting this year with a 1,000-page book. If I was trying to read like 100 books this year, I probably would avoid 1,000-page books. So no reading goals for me at all this year except for to read. Lastly, this is one that I always do, but I'm not going to do this year. Since I don't set reading goals, and I have a lot of friends who do, at the end of the year, I will hear from my friends about how their reading goals went and how many books they read this year. And then I start to get sad and I start to compare myself to others and think just, dang, I should have read more this year. This year, I will not be comparing how many books I have read to other people. All right, well, on that note, I'm gonna get back to reading and watching the waves. Let us know in the comments what your reading ins and outs are for 2025.